Let me lower this thing down. Yeah. All right, so here is our light now. Let's say you found it like this, right? And then so you can hear it's making a sound, teet, 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 teet. So to remove that sound, you just press here. You see, it'll be gone. It'll show here that there's a speaker on, so just turn it off firstly if it's ever doing that, right? If it's ever blinking, so each time you change power, here it's gonna blink. So you always need to go and, right, press it, that's it. So now what you do here is, remember we said that for this thing to be on, it needs to be connected wirelessly. You see, so all you have to do is press both of these buttons together. See, let me show you. This is the working one. When this thing is not working, you must know that it doesn't have a channel and all these things on top here. You don't need this S1 here. So just press that, it goes, right? So this is what you need. This Wi-Fi looking thingy, this CH1. Yeah, so this is what you need for you to know that your light is alive, it's ready to connect. You need this and CH1, that's all, right? But then, and remember, if you mess it up or you find that it's dead, just press these two buttons to get this mode, right at the top. Press them together. If you ever find it like this, it won't work. So you press two of them at the same time, and don't be scared to press them. Hold it with two hands and then press it. See, it's on. So now remember, this light needs to be known. Is it group A or B or C or D? To be able to change that, you just press one time. Press one time. See, and then you can move this knob. See, let's say you wanted it to be B or C, you just move. And once you reach, you see it's blinking, you press OK. It's even written set here by just pressing it in. That's it, right? And then the channel, remember with that trigger, we were changing to channel 15. So if I hard press here, it starts blinking, right? So this one button changes the group and the channel, right? So since it's blinking now for the channel, again, you move. Let's say we're on channel 10 with our trigger, and then you say okay. That's how you do it, right? So let's say this is a reminder now. So if like you want to be in group A, all you have to do is press it one time, and then after that you may move. You see? And then once you are done, you're satisfied with that, you just press set, you sharp. And then if you didn't want channel 10, you do hard press until it starts blinking, and then you'd move, and then you say okay. That's basically how you work this, right? In terms of how this thing shows power, so this is like a light, right? So now let's do this. When it says off, it means it doesn't have any power, right? So the way this power is working, full power will be 1/1. So think about it like a fraction. Remember, 1/1, there was what is that? A whole fraction, like a whole number. It's 1/1. So this means 100, right? Let's remove that. So this means 100. This means it's giving you full power, right? If you go plus let's say 2, you are coming down. Now let's say now you're on 80% power. If you go to 4, now you're, let's say, 60. And then if you go down to 8, you are now on like 50, right? So that it just works like that. And then when you're on 16, you're like 40% power. So it's the more you are going in number, the more you are killing the power. By the time you reach 32, it's like dead. There's no more light coming out of it. That's why after 32 it just goes off, right? So if you're like here 1/1, this would mean like you're shooting 1/100, or you're shooting 100% power, right? Since we are working with 100% power, if you go to 2, you are like working with 80% power. If you go to this, that's just an example, but then you are getting it, right? If you go 1/4, you are decreasing the power, so like you are now using 60% of the power. But now here is the pluses, right? So if we go here to 1/2, this means you are having 80% of power. So if we are counting 80 to 100, we say 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Let's see. So let's say 1/2 is 90. You realize that we have 10 numbers in between from 90 to 100, right? So if this was 90% power, 1 over 2, remember 1 over 1 is 100%. If we go to 1 over 2, we are decreasing power. So 1 over 2 would give us 90% power. Orange. Yeah. So now, the pluses now, this is what the pluses mean. So remember, I'm showing you now decreasing power, right? Coming from 1 over 1, 1 over 2, so we are going down. That means but you can also go up. That's what the pluses do, right? So for example, if you're on 1 over 2, it means you are on 90% power, right? If you wanted 92%, you'd go like this, plus 2. That means now you are getting brighter. But then you see the more pluses you are going, the more you're going back to 100, so it's getting bright. So if you go plus 5, you are getting brighter. Now you're on 95% power. If you go, that's why the moment it goes to 9, 1 over 2 plus 9, it means you're like, remember, I like to repeat so it's easy to understand. 1 over 1 is 100%. If we jump straight to 2 without adding any plus, we removed power. So for the sake of example, 1 over 2 is 90% power, right? So this plus is for plus 1. Now we are just putting power going back to 1 over 1 or going back to 100% power. Hence why once we are here now 1 over 2 plus 9, the moment I go, we jump back to 100 or we go to 1 over 1 full power. So it works everywhere. Even 1 over 4 straight, it means we are on, let's say, 80% power or 70 or whatever. But then just know that from 1 over 1 full power, 1 over 2 we are decreasing kancane, 1 over 4 we are decreasing even more, 1 over 8 we are decreasing, 1 over 16 we are like killing the light. So if you wanted to add more power in 1 over 4 but you didn't want to go to 1 over 2, you just do 1 over 4 plus 2. It means if 1 over 4 in our example is 80, it means you are now on 82, 83, something like that. But then that's how this thing works, right? So the way this thing works, it works on all the lights you're going to be using, right? And obviously this is how you turn it on, turn it off with this button. And then it has a light, like a continuous light. It's like a globe. It's always on. You can turn it on by pressing this, and then it comes here to 100. It just means it's on. If you press it again, it goes off. So once you start pressing it, you'll be able to see that, oh, there's a light turning on there. But then this is what